welcome to another edition of the Press Box. Brian Carson here with my co-host Kenny Varner. How you doing, Kenny V?
I'm doing all right, Brian. I'm just got my voice back the other day, so I'm doing good.
Well, that's good. Speaking of voices, we have a Hall of Famer on tonight
Nice.
from the PA Sports Network, the former voice of the PIAA, Jed Donahue. Thank you for coming on, sir. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's great to be with you guys. No doubt about it. You can hear me all right?
Yep, I can hear you.
Perfect. All right.
So,
Good to be with you. Sporting a beard, hospital, and all of that sort of thing over the summer. So,
yeah, I like it. I like it. You're rocking that beard pretty good.
Gotta do it, man. Oh, I love being on with you, Brian. You know that.
Oh, I do too.
What do you want to talk about?
Let's start where we left off on your show last week about the football going back to 4 classes and less teams in the playoffs.
That got spirited. That was good stuff. I think we ought to go back to 4 classes. I think sub 500 teams that get in, or 500 teams, that are 5-5. Is that really playoff worthy? Teams with 2 or 3 weeks off. Some teams with nobody to play. It seems simple with 4 classes. I think we're trying to emulate other states. And I just wonder about participation levels. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be working for me. A lot of people disagree, but I think 4 classes was fine.
No, I agree with you too. And we talked about that on, like I said, on your show, where you've got teams with going into the playoffs with 3-8 records and 1-8 because you only got 2. We'll just use District 6 as an example. You got 2 teams in 6A, 2 teams in 5A, and only 4 teams in 4A.
Right. So those 5 and 6A teams, when are they going to play their championships and advance in the playoffs? What are they going to be off for 2 weeks? So we've got to get the regular season over in the last Friday, Saturday of October. I think the season ends too early. We're not playing in November. I just, you're playing in the heat in August and all of this sort of thing. And I just don't think people travel to these games like they used to. We got into that as well. And I just think there's apathy if you're playing a 3-8 team or you get all these blowouts and all of this sort of thing. It's just not working.
Do you think it's a watered down sample, what you're getting here than what you used to get?
I think so. I think that's a good point. Describe watered down sample, Kenny, because you might be onto something interesting here. What are you thinking?
Oh, it's just that some teams that to be wouldn't even be thinking about playoffs, and they get in there, and you're not getting the quality games that you would if you had just the four divisions.
Right. I get where you're coming from. I think you can go back to records. Brian, do you remember about 8, 9 years ago, State College had 2 wins in the regular season and beat County in the basketball playoffs?
Yes.
They got some of their guys back. Altoona is a choice, winless, to go to the playoffs. In football this year, in 4A, it just seemed more competitive. And, there just seemed to be teams with winning records that were in. It just seemed to work. It's like if it's fixed, break it. It's almost that mentality. And I defend the PIAA more than most people do. I think their job is really difficult, but it was the National Association. Elliot Hopkins is there, used to be with the PIAA. And I think he talked him into something because declining population, look at Pittsburgh, right? Not a lot of quad or 6A teams. So it just got watered down. And how long have we been doing this with 6 classes? Kenny, do you know? Brian, is it 8 years, 7? What are we at now?
Around 8, 9, yeah.
9 years?
It's been a while now, and it's not working.
No.
Like I said, what is not to get on the kids, but let's take Altoona if they go into the District 6A championship. What justification do you have to be 0-7 and going into the playoffs.
You don't. I just, I don't know what Phil Riccio is going to do, the athletic director there, Vince Niedermeyer, the coach. I don't know. I wouldn't put my kid in a playoff situation if you're winless.
No.
I mean, come on. And we're not trying to pick on Altoona really.
No.
People there, but if you're winless, that's not a playoff year. It never has anything we've ever covered, man. Come on.
And let's be honest, State College would annihilate them.
Oh, it'd be a mercy
It would
ruling.
be ugly.
At least you'd be out of there in an hour and 10 minutes. But is that fair to the Altoona kids? You got mercy ruled and all of this sort of thing. And, you're trying for some kind of miracle win. It just makes no sense at all. I don't know what's going on in District 3, but I know a lot of people down there, they wouldn't put a winless team in the playoffs.
No.
And District 6 needs to merge with somebody else. I think they need to go in with District 4. I don't know how you feel about that, Kenny, but I mean, there is some geographical advantages if 6 and 4 got together and did something because, with 6, we just need some help at the bigger school levels. I don't know who in 4 or 5 would be in there, right? Central Mountain. How many kids went out for football at Central Mountain? Did they get to 30 this year? Wow.
I don't know, but they're going to be here.
Yeah, they merge some districts here, make this work.
Yeah, I agree. It's a situation, if they don't want to go into 3, which District 6 really doesn't, maybe District 9.
Yeah, I could see that.
You would have
80 quarter is what you're saying.
Yeah, and 4. Put them both, because as far as
together, that'll work.
As far as 6A teams, I think 4 has Williamsport, right?
That's about it, though. The rest are like 5A. I think.
And District 9 has Du Bois.
Well, I mean, they meet in the playoffs. They might as well put them in the same league or something, right?
Yeah.
Du Bois is 6A, right?
I think maybe not.
They might be 5A. No, they're 6A because Mifflin County lost to them in that playoff game. That was played there. That's right. They played Du Bois, but I'm not sure if their districts or 6A or not.
But go ahead, Kenny. I thought you were going to say something.
No, I was just going to say, to take the devil's advocate side of it, it does give these other teams a taste of the ones that wouldn't have made it to the playoffs. It gives them a couple extra weeks to practice. Plus, it gives them a chance to see, what they could do eventually. Kind of give them some experience there. But I'm right there with you. I think that something should be done because it can't keep going on like this.
No, and Brian and I talked on my show. And, I don't think you see it as much in the regular season because Friday night's kind of an event in towns, but playoff attendance. I mean, Brian, I told you I did a Central Dauphin Wilson game. Chad Henne and Central Dauphin, I think, was 3rd in the state. Wilson was 2nd in Quad A, and Central Catholic out of Pittsburgh was the top-ranked team. They had Wisniewski and all those guys.
Yeah.
They were really good, man. I mean, there were 5 D1 guys on that roster and a bunch of PSAC. But anyway, there was about 17,000 people at the Hershey Park Stadium watching that. You don't even get that in a weekend anymore. What do you get? 8,000, 5,000?
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Sessions? That's 3 days of sessions, of games on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and they don't even get 7,000 for the 3 days. It's sad. Because these playoff things, and Kenny and Brian, you both have been in electric atmospheres, both of you over the years, in a lot of sports. And I just think fan apathy in these playoffs is just alarming to me. Nobody goes anymore. I'm shocked. Used to be huge.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to what we said, the watered down stuff. People that aren't parents are probably thinking, okay, say a team's 3-8 and goes into playoffs. Why do I want to travel and go see this team get blown out?
Or, you mean 2 to 3 hours one way and 2 to 3 hours going home?
Yeah.
Fans don't do it. students really, they put bus rides together, right? But that doesn't really go all that well as far as attendance. And the idea was to home court everybody, right? Instead of doing neutral sites in a lot of ways in the district level anyway. And that's not working either.
No.
As far as getting people in and getting people to go. I mean, I know we're busy and all of that sort of thing, but this used to be huge. And I just think it's lost its fastball in a lot of ways. And it's not just football that we're picking at here. It's really all sports. Basketball attendance, I mean, that's a pittance in some areas. And, it's all sports now. And it's a shame. It really is.
Yeah, you and I have experienced it even in a state like this, which is so fanatic about wrestling. Go down and see the attendance during the state duels.
Yeah, I was alarmed at Altoona's attendance, to be honest with you, a few years ago when we did it, and they had all those D1 guys like Mirren and all of that sort of thing, and the Harvey brothers. And I thought, you're in the field house at Altoona. This is going to be a tough ticket. And I'm like, it's only half full in here.
Exactly.
And, the Giants Center, the pricing as far as concessions, I mean, it's like minor league hockey, major league prices. And yeah, I am picking on the Giants Center in Hershey for that. I think they got to move wrestling out of there. It's just a pain in the butt to try and move in and around there for everything. And at least they got football out of there.
Right.
But yeah, basketball, Penn State wants it, and let's move it to State College, right? I mean, let's just do it. Or go to Rec Hall, do that. They'll put Rec Hall on the pay, and Penn State gets a recruiting advantage. Not really. Penn State gets anybody they want. It doesn't matter where the wrestling is.
Right.
I mean, come on. His 10 guys, and then the rest of the country, okay, you can come in now. We're done.
Yeah.
So there's no recruiting advantage that isn't already inherent at Penn State anyway.
Yeah, and the state
double and triple A, Brian, right?
Right. And
what works.
The state championships used to be in Rec Hall anyway.
Back in the day, right?
Back in the day, yeah.
I remember the old arena, man. They were hanging off light fixtures. I mean, you couldn't get in there. You couldn't even get in there for district basketball. I've told you the story. We'd be there. Harrisburg, Reading, Manheim Township from Lancaster would be in there for, okay, you're going to lose to Steel High tonight. And then it'd be Steel High Harrisburg or Steel High Reading, man. There'd be 10,000 people in the building. There's 10 D1 guys running around. It was awesome. Plus, they had the AA boys both nights. It was AAA Tuesday, Quad A Monday, and then Quad A semifinals and everybody on Wednesday. It was phenomenal. And then the finals over the weekend. And they screwed that up.
Yes, absolutely. And you brought up a good point, too, is the concessions. I mean, do you remember our $15 breakfast for the $15 omelet? We
had to wait like 15, 20 minutes for it. And it was $20 with a drink.
With the drink, $20. It's like, damn, this omelet should have gold leaf around it.
Tell me about it. I don't know. Maybe they do dollar drafts. I'm kidding. They shut those down.
Yeah.
Those concession prices, man, at Hershey are rough, real tough. And, you got people like coming in 4 hours one way or whatever. They jacked the hotel rates up. I mean, it's kind of brutal.
Yeah.
To do that. You're on a fixed budget or whatever. And, that's partially the reason why I think attendance at basketball and wrestling are down, because the venue. Go to Rec Hall, go to the Jordan Center, do whatever. Get in the middle of the state.
I think
to talk to you.
I think another reason it's down too, I want to get your opinion on this. Even though you got to keep up with technology, I think streaming. Live streaming has hurt attendance bad because people think, okay, I can go live, but why would I want to do all that hassle when I could just sit in my house?
And that's what's going on here. I mean, and also it's all televised wrestling anyway. It's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And PCN. I mean, I've talked to Dr. Bob Lombardi, the executive director. He says TV and now streaming sucks the attendance. And I think that also, a lot of these schools doing their own video now, right?
Yeah.
So I think that might hurt attendance too a little bit. I mean, let's be fair. It's not just apathy, but technology. That's a great point that you bring up. I
Mhm.
think has diminished some of the crowd sizes.
Yeah, it seemed like since COVID, once COVID hit, everything just seemed to change. Things that used to be popular, there were less people going to these things now. And then you said with the streaming, it just seemed like COVID was the beginning of the end for the way things are going.
Well, COVID taught us. You mean I can do this at home? One of those things. It was a pretty good deal. COVID, man, getting paid to be at home. So, I'm glad we're through COVID. I'm just kind of being a smart aleck. But
No,
Kenny's right.
I'm with you on that. I'm glad it's over.
Yes.
So I don't know what they can do, but going back to the original topic, I'd like to see us go back to 4 classes. I don't know, participation levels are way down. I mean, you guys see it more than I do. Kenny, you're on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed it doing games, on the radio and things like that. Brian, you and I talk probably once a week, sometimes twice. And, we're just alarmed at the attendance numbers, especially when we get to the playoffs and things like that. But Kenny, you bring up a good point. A lot of these playoff games are streamed too. I think most of them are.
Yeah.
So, like the wrestling, Brian, and Kenny's right. Streaming is a big deal, no question. And if you can stay at home, bathroom down the hall, it's the same thing about, why am I going to hassle to go to a Penn State football game? Traffic, all of that sort of thing, and pay like a $60 parking pass per game, right?
Yeah.
And the TV is so good as far as the major college level. I mean, you've seen the production values of these broadcasts. They're unbelievable. So why not be at home? You get all these different camera angles and all of this. You don't get it at the high school level per se, but the high school telecasts aren't bad. They really aren't. It's pretty good.
No, they actually aren't. They're getting better each year as people get used to streaming and the technology and that.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I've taken 2 interns out of Mifflin County High School that interned for me. You remember Garen,
Oh, yeah.
Field, and Garen's in Nashville, Tennessee now. Engineering, he got out of broadcasting. I told him, get out. Don't do this.
Yeah, a lot more money in engineering.
Oh, I tell all my interns, I go, here's the deal. You're going to major in business so you know how to run yourself, and then you can do the communications minor. Do that. Know how to run yourself. Because it's a different world out there, man. You guys are newspaper. I mean, look where that's going. I mean,
that's a dinosaur.
It's hard to find articles anymore on the kids. That's why, Kenny, you guys in this hometown sports, people love it. You're the only game in town in a lot of ways, with photos and all of this sort of thing. And I know it's not easy. I know you're hustling like crazy, covering, selling, all of that sort of thing. Behind the scenes, people need to know just how hard everybody's working at that and how hard you work, Kenny, at that.
Thanks.
It's a really big time job.
Thanks.
I have
I read it all when it comes out. I see it. I get it.
Awesome.
Plus, I have I guess it's my own little pet peeve. I have a pet peeve about modern sports writing. Today, in the age of X, it's not Twitter now, and Facebook and all that, sports writers, the younger gen, I know I sound like an old curmudgeon. The younger generation doesn't want to write stories. They try to write as little as possible about the game or about what they're writing about. Just get it done in this age of Twitter and stuff.
Well, and a lot of this stuff isn't sourced either, right?
Right.
When you look at it. I mean, you got to really look at it with a jaundiced eye in a lot of ways. As far as you're right. I mean, you get on X, and there is a lot of good information up there. Let's not be totally blind to this. But there's a lot of information out there that's not sourced, and all of a sudden, catches fire.
Yeah.
And it's gospel, it's truth, and all of this sort of thing. But that's how they get their news. That generation, they're not reading newspapers, and we were online just like this is, Brian, because You know, do you think they're listening to the radio religiously in the morning and the afternoon?
No.
Things are consumed differently. And, you know, wait till these broadcast networks find out in about 10 years, we're not even that far away, that this generation isn't going to pay $5.95 to get Peacock so they can watch Penn State or Ohio State or that sort of thing. They're not doing it, man.
No, not at all.
You're in these multi-billion-dollar deals for streaming and all of that sort of thing. The only one that'll survive that possibly could be the NFL, but I think even they could take a hit. I said
Yes,
that.
absolutely.
They kind of rule the world, don't they? The NFL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for as long as they want to.
Oh boy, this is on in the background. I just got a text. Brutal. So may not make it.
Phillies.
Yeah. That's a separate conversation for another day, but it's not good. Yep, there it is. They're not happy. They're dinging me here, man.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you'd need oven mitts tomorrow to be on Philly radio, man.
Yes.
You get the
Yes,
Eagles and
'cause
the Phillies. Woo! Not
they
a
thought-
happy place.
I know they thought this was their year.
They did, and it looked great, the All-Star break, but they don't play the World Series right after the All-Star break.
No.
We well know. But anyway, that's how they're consuming it now. It's X. I don't know, Facebook. I mean, my daughter told me Facebook's for old people.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, it's Instagram and all of that. I guess Facebook, it's there, but I guess that's like sending smoke signals now.
Yeah, I guess TikTok and that stuff.
Yeah, and, but they're not going to buy streaming or any of that sort of thing. They
No.
might buy a movie or a show or things. So, I mean, all of this stuff that we're talking about, you know, tying it into high school and everything else, everything has just changed so dramatically since like 2010, 2018, even since the pandemic, as Kenny referred to, where people are working at home. I mean, when you worked at home, right, during COVID, it's like, man, I kind of like this. You know, I don't have any like childcare costs. My kids are here and all of this sort of thing. It changed a lot of dynamics in a lot of ways.
Yes, it did.
It really did. So that's a great point by Kenny there.
So, baseball. Mets 4-1 over the Phillies
Yeah.
in the seventh, bottom of the seventh.
The bullpen
Your-
let him down.
Your Tigers beat the Guardians
How about
3-0. And then in the,
said the Indians, the Guardians haven't scored a run in 18 innings.
how about that?
Back-to-back 3-0 shutouts. And, you know, they're doing it with bullpen games now. You know, if you got a stud starter like Detroit does in Scooble today, they pitch 7 guys. And if a guy even gave up a loud out or whatever, Hinch was out there replacing him. So bullpen games. So
And it's
baseball, by the way, high school wise. I mean, I know we got brutal weather. Ken, you're out there more than we are. Well, are we any good in baseball, high school wise in this state?
Yeah, I think we got Bellefonte and Bald Eagle coming back. They both had some good years. I think Mifflin County's on the rise. And then you have like the softball teams. You know, you have your Juniatas and your Bellefonte's, Bald Eagle, Phillipsburg. I think we're in good shape. I think we're gonna continue to have teams make it to the state finals.
Yeah.
I think
my buddy Craig Bubb runs Juniata, man. I was very happy for him. Yeah.
so. I think there's a lot of possibilities out there for some good happenings for Central Pennsylvania.
It's tough though in state. Brian, you and I've talked about it on the show, and you know, Kenny, I've been with you a lot on the air with stuff, but the weather is rough. And now
Yeah.
May is the new April. You know, it's cold and rainy in May rather. You know, it doesn't break until like Memorial Day or something. I mean, this May was cold.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
it's
always cold. That's true, I am, but the weather here is just tough stuff.
Yeah.
I went to high school in Massachusetts, and they'd be playing with sideways snow and stuff, you know, into April. Brutal.
Well, it's definitely an advantage if you're like Florida or California, where you can pretty much play all year round.
Yeah, my
we don't-
cousins grew up in Arizona. They were year-round with camps and all that.
You don't have that luxury here in Pennsylvania.
No,
At
you
all.
got a short window.
No,
But,
you go
go
from.
ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. You go from winter to summer. There's not really much of a spring. It's just one extreme to the other.
You're totally right. And as I said, with now May, the new April, right, with the weather rainy and cold, you've got that. I mean, it's tough on our guys. I know Rob Cooper, the former Penn State baseball coach, he tried at Penn State. I don't think it's going to happen there. Do you guys? I mean, as far as baseball?
No.
I don't think so either. And it doesn't matter how good of Rob Cooper was really good. And he won at Kent State, of all places, right? Got to the College World, or I think to the regional final with Kent State. But no, it's the Big Ten's a mid-major. I know they've broken through a little bit, but it's still, the weather's just not conducive. No, so I was just curious about that. Softball, we're good. Softball, I think we got a lot of Division I players throughout PA. I mean, we got great programs and all of that. Baseball, on the other hand, it's a tough go. Weather. That's what it's about.
It is. Every year you'll have maybe like 2 or 3 guys in PA that are considered top prospects, like in the first 3 rounds of the draft, and that's about it. Well,
we had 2 guys go number 1 overall in the draft. Sean Abner out of Mechanicsburg, and remember Al Chambers got drafted by Seattle, Harrisburg kid. Number 1 pick overall. So I think we've got the second most major league players all time behind California and Pennsylvania. I don't know if you guys knew that or not.
No, I didn't.
Born here. I mean, we claim Reggie Jackson, Stan Musial, all those guys, Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, they were born in PA, or that we're counting them. But no, we've got a lot more guys than people realize, especially that Pittsburgh area. I think there's 3 guys in the majors right now, or were when Neil Walker. There's 2, and then Neil Walker, who just retired, which isn't bad.
No.
It's not as great as it once was, but for the weather that we got to deal with here in our state, it's brutal. I feel for those kids. You drive by there, right, Brian? You've covered standing down that right or left field line. You're like, God, is this ever going to be over? I'm freezing.
Yeah. Yes.
35 degrees. Oh God. Hit the ball.
I covered a Mount Union baseball game once, and right in the middle of the game it started to snow.
Isn't that nice? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute.
You're like this.
Yeah. It's like, this is April. What the hell is it snowing for?
Right. It's not good. No. So
all right, let's
public-private thing. Go there.
All right.
I think that's going to happen. They seem to have momentum in the legislature.
I do too. There's a lot of lawmakers behind it now that want to see separate PIAA championships for private and public schools. I think it's going to happen too. There's enough complaining now from coaches and enough lawmakers that are taking an interest that'll make it happen.
Yeah, well, there was a team that played Bishop McDevitt last year, and they said, look, just do the best you can, but stay out of the way, and all of this sort of thing. They had all those D1 guys, and the recruited roster. God love them. Wechter, he produces great teams every year and great talent, but, there is an unfair advantage, especially now that we've got these athletes-only schools like IMG Academy. I mean, and now the town teams are losing kids to that. It's rough for the public schools, man. They're getting poached right and left. So I think it's going to happen too. New Jersey does it, and it seems to be a peaceful deal there. They're fine with it.
Yeah.
And I think we'd be okay too with it. I mean, but Philly, is that all private schools that are coming to football and basketball anyway? Do you guys know?
Pretty much.
I haven't done anything since the Philly teams got in this thing.
Pretty much.
So they don't draw anyway. I mean, so let them do their own thing. Go to the Palestra in Philadelphia. You might get a Philly fan or 2. They're not coming up to Hershey, I'll tell you that. They're not. They don't draw.
No, but I mean, I think it's happening in enough sports too. That
it is.
It started out, it was just basically basketball. But then now, like, especially in AA, wrestling, Last year, the top 5 teams in the state were all private schools.
I know. I'd hate to see, though, because, that's great, the talent that you have in wrestling, right? I mean, do you say everything but wrestling, or is there complaints in the wrestling? You would know better, Brian, but
there's a lot of complaints in wrestling in Double A, not Triple A, because basically your only private school that's powerful in Triple A is Becca. That's it.
Becca's a big-time powerhouse. I
Yeah.
know. But, the District 11 guys don't mind that for whatever reason. Because they're good. They've got depth there. Their participation levels are through the roof in wrestling in District 11.
But Double A, you got Bishop McCourt with that all-star team. You've got
that'll get everybody upset this year.
You got Faith Christian, Notre Dame Green Pond, Bishop McDevitt.
This is Wyoming Seminary. Where is that?
That is up in Kingston.
Kingston where? Pennsylvania?
Yeah, near Wilkes-Barre.
Really?
Yeah.
I never heard of it. Kingston, anyway.
It is a prep school.
Okay, I thought it'd be the Reading area. I was thinking Wyomissing. That's what threw me off.
No, they're up in Kingston.
Well, that's all recruits, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, you got two Wyoming Seminary kids are coming to Penn State. Luke Lillidahl was from Missouri.
Okay. And ended up at Wyoming Seminary?
Yeah.
And wow. And they thought Danny Fortson leaving Altoona for whatever in Pittsburgh was controversial back in the day. Wow. Missouri. See what I mean? That's a built for wrestling power. And you got all these basketball ones as well. There's a bunch of kids that have skipped in Harrisburg all there. I mean, they're just jumping around,
Yeah. And I don't know. Where do you see this Lillidahl kid, Jed?
I've heard. I had
He's gonna start right away for Penn State at 125.
Yeah, that's what Byers. He even mentioned him. He didn't even bother with any of the other names.
No, and he's got a chance to win the national championship as a true freshman. Yep.
He saw him in the room this week, and he's as advertised. I'm confirming your knowledge because Byers saw him in the room this week.
Yeah, he's got one of the quickest single legs I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, It's crazy good.
So Penn State now is a 25-pounder. Uh-oh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So what's
this
that
is
9 of 10 All-Americans or whatever?
Yeah, probably.
One of these years they're going to get all 10, right? Into the final. It's not crazy talk.
No, but I know they're going to have a bunch.
At least 6. Byers thinks 6 or 7 again.
Logan Orn, he's
tickets to. I want to be in the room. Sell tickets to that. Penn State's backup wrestlers against the starters.
Oh, they'd win.
That'd be 7,000 at that.
Penn State's backups would beat most Division I teams.
Well, they'd probably be what, 5th or 6th in the country?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's
Logan Orn, he's the Juniata tennis coach. He brings up a good point. He said this.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was telling Kenny, I go, see what happens when we get together here, Kenny. We go all over the place.
Yes.
We started with public versus private, Wyoming Seminary to Penn State wrestling talk. We jump.
The issue is if you separate the private recruited schools from the public schools, scouts won't bat an eye at the public school brackets.
You don't think? Will the fans or will the fans be out more, knowing that it's a fair fight and they can pick on somebody their own size, or what?
Yeah, I honestly think that if you are talented, if you are really talented, they will find you.
Absolutely.
They will hear about you. They will know it.
Let's go back to streaming, what Kenny was talking about. There's film on everybody. Really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
You can just call up, all right, you got this kid's pay. That's like the old days. You got film on this kid.
Yep. And you got Huddle.
And you got all these analysts. Yeah. All these analysts in there at each school. Yeah. You'll get found.
All right, speaking of jumping around, your Buckeyes. I think they are the best team in college football, without a doubt.
I think they are, but is the offensive line going to be there in the big games? Can they get through the SEC? That's Ohio State, right? They beat everybody until the SEC in the bowl game, or
Well, I don't know.
the playoff. They had
They
Georgia
didn't.
beat 2 years ago. Now Michigan's a problem. They've lost 3 in a row there, but they're better than Michigan this year. It's not even close.
Well, they've had great backs, but
Yes.
never at the same time like Judkins and Henderson.
Well, the other thing they're willing blockers too, Brian. So
Yeah.
they protect Howard. Howard, I'm not totally sold on, but that wide receiver core that they have.
Oh my God, Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, it's all world, man, and you got a guy as a true freshman overlook. He's better than Ibuka and Carnell Tate and all of those guys, and now Brandon Ennis is out there. Yeah, they're a handful. It just comes down to they're going to be able to stop people when it matters most. Can they get off the field on third down against Michigan, which they couldn't last year? Couldn't do it against Georgia when they had the big lead in the national semifinal. But I think this is the best Ohio State team I've seen at least since 2019. I think that team had Haskins and Chase Young and those guys. They're real good.
Yeah, they're loaded. They're loaded.
Yeah. They are, and I think they're going to beat Oregon. I don't know if handily is the right word for it, but I don't think – and you can tell by Dan Lanning's body language that he knows his hands are full Saturday night. It doesn't matter whether he's home or not. I think Ohio State wants to go on the road and make a statement.
They do.
For Penn State this week, man, they got to have this one. If they do, then I think they're going to be in the Big Ten championship game, and who knows, a rematch with Ohio State for all we know. Because everybody's going to get a second loss, right? The way it's looking. So we'll see. I got a great stat when you're done.
Go ahead.
Do you know that this is somebody has too much time on their hands, or they're in the basement? But
Right.
teams in the Big Ten that have had to travel 2 time zones are 1-8 on the year.
I was going to mention, not that. I didn't know that stat. But I honestly think that USC, this could be a trip-up game for Penn State.
They got to be careful. I think it's 24-20 Penn State. But I think Penn State can dominate the line of scrimmage, both offensive and defensive lines. And I hope people start figuring out that Denai Dennis Sutton is the best defensive lineman in the country, the defensive end for Penn State. What is he, 6'5", 270? They said he's 270 during the Illinois game.
Yeah.
The NFL people are all over it, by the way. So that's all you need to know.
I just believe that travel, it could be a trip-up game for them.
Well, look at the Rose Bowl over the years, right? The Pac-12 had all those advantages. When our guys went out west, right? In the warm weather, California girls around, you're distracted.
Plus, I don't know how they do it. How in the hell did Penn State get 4 straight home games?
To start the season?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, you got to sprinkle it out a little better. They got a tough November, though. Washington ain't going to do much up here. That's the whiteout game. And then it's about Ohio State. And then they got a tricky one at Minnesota, man. You don't know what weather's going to be there in November.
No.
The year Ohio State won it in 2014, it was 5 below zero at kickoff with sideways wind. That's Minneapolis, man. Woo, that could be brutal.
I get people mad at me on this show when I say it, but Ohio State's going to slaughter Penn State. Slaughter them.
The only reason it's within like 10 points is it's here. They're a different animal up here at Beaver Stadium, and they're going all in. I mean, you look at their whiteout record, and I said this on the show like last week. Somebody asked me what the whiteout game was. They've forgotten. And they go, well, they don't do well on the whiteout. And I go, well, the record doesn't indicate that, but you got to look at who they played. Some of those Ohio State teams are the best they've ever had. And the Michigan team that came in here, arguably, for sure the best team they've had since 1997, but it's among the top 5 Michigan teams of all time. So you look at the 2 teams that weren't Michigan or Ohio State that dealt with a whiteout. Minnesota and Iowa. What happened? They got crushed in that environment. Crushed. So you want to play your best game there, Ohio State or Michigan.
Yeah, Ohio State's going to crush.
You're not going to make friends on this show doing that kind of stuff.
They are.
I think they're the best team in the country. I'm anxious to see what they look like Saturday night.
I'm going to stick with it, man. I think they are. They are the best team in the country.
Second best team, and I think they meet for the whole damn thing is Texas.
Yeah, Texas is really good.
Have you seen that number 78 Barnwell that plays left tackle or right tackle? Left tackle.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Well, we might as well put wheels on a condominium unit because, wow, he's something else. He's 350 and he runs like a 4.65 40 at 350.
Wow.
He might be the top pick in the draft, by the way. A left tackle with that kind of wheels, 6'5".
Yeah, that's rare.
Yeah, you gotta run that card up to Goodell. Yep, we're taking him. And you don't worry about that spot for 10 years. That's
right.
For Quinn Ewers and Manning, and they've got a bunch of guys. They're only going to get better, right? I mean, they crushed Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
Michigan team, though. And I thought Tennessee, and they go to Arkansas and get beat. And how did Alabama lose to Vanderbilt?
Vanderbilt.
Who had that?
They go and play and not beat Georgia and then lose to Vandy.
Right. You know, that wide receiver at Alabama is good. The two freshmen, Smith, you've already mentioned at Ohio State.
And Ryan Williams, yeah.
He's only 17. He'd be a senior in high school.
Yeah, crazy.
Mifflin County, Ryan Williams playing for Mifflin County. Could we get the ball to him? I'd run him around, reverse, double reverse.
Everything.
He'd probably get the ball on every play.
Direct snaps, anything.
You're our guy.
Yep.
You just ride him home, man.
Get the ball to Williams.
Yeah, he's terrific. That was an unbelievable play against Georgia, no doubt about it. So, when's wrestling start? High school?
December.
Huh?
December. Penn State's November 16th.
Yeah, I know. It's a month out already. You know, I was talking to Jeff Byers about that again. I had him on. And 2 BJC matches. They got to go to the Jordan Center for at least 2 from now on. The demand is too great for tickets. You can't get to Rec Hall. There's a waiting list to get into Rec Hall that's a mile long. They've got to go into the Jordan Center. I mean, Iowa and Michigan. That's pretty good. That'll sell out. And I think they're both on Friday night. So
did he clue you in on Levi Haynes? Is he going to redshirt or not?
No, he's wrestling. They all want to be part of another national championship, so it's tough to talk these guys into a red shirt. So he might move up to 65, maybe. And then Messenbrink, 74. Starachi's going to 84. 97's wide open unless you know who it is. And then you got Kirkfleet, heavy.
Yeah, 97, they'll probably move Josh Barr up.
Yeah, that's probably right.
He had a good red shirt year. I just wondered how they were going to do it. I know Nagao is red shirting. He's taking a medical red shirt.
Is he? Okay. All right.
And they're going to have Braden Davis, who was 25 last year, up at 33.
Okay. And then the 25-pounder we've
Lilladall.
Yeah. Well, he mentioned he's already starting at 25. They're already working him out. So
and then Bartlett and Van Ness. So that Tyler Kasich must be redshirting.
Yeah, I mean they're offering him around, but I mean before you redshirt, you could still wrestle in 5 matches or whatever.
Yeah.
So they'll do that, and the opening tournament, November 16th, is Missouri's one of the teams coming here. That's pretty good. I mean, Missouri's not real deep, but, you know, Jaden Cox and guys like that show up at nationals. They've always got 1 or 2 guys in that national starting lineup, right?
Yeah, O'Toole.
That's a great program. So, what do you think, David Taylor at Oklahoma State? You and I have talked about brilliant move. I guess he's talking a little bit about the Nittany Lion Club that's been negative, that's got them a little upset. But I don't know. He's just needling, I think. It's a great move, though.
Yeah, he's got to do that, like, you know, to please the Oklahoma State boosters and contingent and stuff.
Oh,
The guy's Penn State through. The guy's Penn State through and through.
Yeah,
But I think he's going to do a great job at Oklahoma State. With his name alone, he's going to get recruits. I mean, give him some time. He'll be there.
All he's got to do is go to the Giants Center, PIAA championship weekend. There's dudes there. Penn State can't get them all.
No.
You know, have you seen Pitt's getting their own wrestling building? 3,000 seats.
Nice.
They're going to move them over to the Pete. They might do a couple of matches over there, but they're getting their own wrestling arena there. They're going to do the volleyball and other Olympic sports, but wrestling and that sort of thing, and volleyball are the main tenants. They've got the number one team in the country in women's volleyball at Pitt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but the athletic director was let go. She's not good with name, image, likeness. So that's a shame because I thought she was pretty good. Heather Like is who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But, you know, Pitt's 5-0, buddy, and a winnable game here against Cal. Keep an eye on that.
I know.
Our friends to the west, and you and I have talked about that sleeping giant wrestling there.
Yeah, they're coming. They're coming.
I know. The problem
Gavin
with these guys, you know, the old West, they don't have the money for 9.9 scholarships.
Yeah.
Like Clarion and things. You know, Edinburgh's on a fundraising drive to be able to fund, you know, some NIL and also get some scholarships going. You know, it's not the world's not all Penn State, right? I feel for our guys in the old Eastern Wrestling League, our PA guys at Lockhaven, Clarion, Edinburgh, Bloom. Am I missing one? Probably.
Cleveland State.
Yeah. Lehigh doesn't have to worry. They probably just pick up the phone. Hey, we need this. Okay.
Yeah.
Check's on the move. Don't worry about it. How about that match going to the Pepsi Center with Penn State? That's huge.
Huge.
That's going to be 10,000 over there in Penn State every other year doing the Lehigh thing. That's District 11, New Jersey line, Blair Academy nearby. There's they're not there by accident, right?
No, they're there to do some recruiting.
Exactly. You go to District 11, Jersey's just over here, Blair Academy down the road. We're good. Kingston's even an hour away. I know where Wyoming Seminary is.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they have actually have a kid from Blair coming in
Really?
next year, William Hinkle.
Okay.
And yes, he's good.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure he is. You know, so. All right. Well, that public versus private thing, that's coming, I'm pretty sure, as far as the high schools. I want to talk to Doug Dyke about this. The really good athletic director at Bald Eagle. I know Kenny knows him well.
Yeah, he's been on our show.
Oh, yes? Okay. Good guy. Knows his sports trivia, too. Try and run stuff by him. It's pretty good. All right, bud. We good?
We are fantastic. I thank you for
everything around tonight.
I thank you for coming on. I knew it was going to be entertaining and fun. And then we'd go all over the place. I don't even come up with a structure when it's you and me. We just talk.
We just go for it and do it that way. Kenny's head spinning, though. I can see it.
Pretty much, yeah.
By the way, hometown sports scene, I got to tell you again, phenomenal stuff. I get it when I see it every month, and I have for years. And congratulations on the job you do there. That's just phenomenal for the kids in our area. I know you got one up in Center County and things like that. And I managed to pick it up when I was 6 weeks in rehab. So Good stuff. Real good. So, all right, guys. Brian, I'll talk to you.
All right, buddy. Try to stay healthy, my friend.
I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can here. We're okay.
All right, buddy. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, love it, man. Be good, guys. See ya.
Yeah.
All right, that's Hall of Famer Jed Donahue from the PA Sports Network. Is nice enough to come on the show with us. We appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go now to our scores. Remember?
Okay. Yeah.
Juniata last week, 33-6 over Newport. Clearfield 41-7 over Bold Eagle area. Bellefonte 43-0 over PO. Central 40-6 over Penns Valley. Mount Union 46-0 over Juniata Valley. State College 38-0 over Cedar Cliff. And Mifflin County pulled out the squeaker 20-14 over Waynesboro.
And what a game that was.
Yeah, you covered that.
Oh, yeah. That was one of those games, if it wouldn't be for Christine's shot or interception there, with 20 seconds left to go in the game, it was hard to say how it was going to go. So, but yeah, the Huskies, they came out the second half, and I've seen them a couple times this year, but this time in the second half, they were all business. I mean, it was like a light switch, flicked, and they dominated the second half.
Nice. So let's go to this week.
Oh,
Our predictions. Juniata 5-2 travels to Greencastle to take on Greencastle Antrim 1-6.
Well, this one isn't even a match. Juniata going away. I'm going to say 49-7.
Yeah, I'm going to go near that. I'm going to say 48-10. The Trojans of Johnstown 2-5 travel to Wingate to take on the Eagles. Bald Eagle area 3-4.
This is a must-win for Bald Eagle, and I think it'll happen. I think it's going to be a comfortable win. I'm going to say 28-10.
Yeah, I think Bald Eagle's going to get back on the winning track. 31-14. Then the resurgent Bellefonte Red Raiders hosting Bishop McCourt, the Crushers, 4-3, Bellefonte 5-2. Should be a good game.
Oh man, this one's going to be one of those that probably is decided whoever has the ball last. I'm going to be covering this game, and I'm going to stick with Bellefonte on this. I'm going to say 35-31.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Bellefonte too, 24-20. Then we have, let me get my clicker going. I'll get there, Kenny. There we go. Lower Dauphin 3-4 at Mifflin County 3-4. Kind of a disappointing season so far for Lower Dauphin. Penn Live predicted them to win the Keystone Division.
Wow. Well, after what I saw last week with the home crowd and with the way they flicked it, they turned it on. I'm going to say Mifflin County is going to go to 500 with this. It's going to be a hard-fought game, but I'm going to say 27-26.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. I'm going to say 28-24, Mifflin County, in a very competitive game.
Mm-hmm.
We have Somerset traveling to Spring Mills, 2-5. Somerset takes on 0-7 Penns Valley.
Well, I am going to say this one's going to be the upset of the week. Penns Valley is going to get that first win of the season, playing at home, playing for pride. I'm going to say it's going to be 28-14.
I think they're going to get their first win, too. I'm going to say 17-14. Penns Valley gets off the schneid. All right, Westmont Hilltop 0-7 at PO 2-5.
I still think PO's on the rise. They're at home, and I think after this game, Westmont Hilltop will be 0-8. Phillipsburg 27 and to 7.
Yeah, I'm going to say worse. 41-13 Phillipsburg. All right, then coming up, Southern Huntington 1-6 takes on Mount Union 6-1.
When you're playing at Mount Union, Southern Huntington does not, have a chance. It's going to be 42 to 7.
I'm going to go 54-0 Mount Union. Now we come to the game of the week, Kenny Varner.
Mm-hmm.
The State College Little Lions 6-1 travel the unbeaten CD East 7-0. Gonna be a game.
Yeah, this is one you can flip a coin on and maybe have a better chance. I'm gonna say CD East pulls it out late, 31-28.
Nice. I think CD East is not. They're undefeated, yes, but they haven't played the schedule that State College. CD East's last 3 games are State College, Bishop McDevitt, and Harrisburg.
Oh, nice way to end the season.
Yeah, I think State College is going to pull it out. 28-21.
Nice.
That does that. All right. Do we have our weekly shout-outs, Mr. Varner?
Absolutely.
Kenny?
Yep. Yeah.
Kenny, are you there?
I'm here.
Kenny?
Yeah, hello.
There we are. Do you have any shout-outs, my friend?
Yes, I sure do.
All right, hold on. Kenny Varner and his shout-outs. Go for it.
Okay, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. The first one, big shout out I'd like to give out to is the entire Juniata football team. They came up tonight to play my special needs team in an exhibition game, and it was a blast. The kids were great. Our team bonded with them well afterwards. It was the best game of the season. Hats off to that crew. Coach Kondo, thank you. The players, thank you. And, I know my players after the game became instant Juniata fans. Thanks again for playing us. So
nice.
Shout out to them. So what an excellent night. We'll move on now to Bald Eagle volleyball player Leah Bryant. She picked up her 500th career kill this past week. That's quite an achievement. So congratulations. Next is also Bald Eagle. It's quarterback Carson Nagel. He reached the 10,000-yard career passing.
Wow.
So,
that's rare air, baby.
Yeah. So, and he's, I guess he's continuing his career at Lock Haven. So,
nice.
He'll still be local enough that we can catch up with him now and then. Special shout out to Reese Christine for the diving interception, sealing the win for Mifflin County Friday night. What a great homecoming atmosphere. 150 alumni band members. The whole one side of the home bleachers were filled. It was great. It was like the good old days when we first started covering them, um, like Mifflin County and India Valley and Lewistown back in the day. So quite a great evening. Um, Next up is Bald Eagle area's Mackenzie Bickle, who had a hat trick in their win last night against rival Belfont. Uh, Congratulations. Next
Yeah.
up is Mifflin County volleyball team for picking up a tough road win over Penns Valley. Good to see them back in the win column. Next up, speaking of volleyball, is the Juniata volleyball team. They're riding a 3-game winning streak as of late, so they're really starting to come on when it matters as we head down to into the postseason. Congratulations. Um, Sticking with Juniata, we're going to talk about cross country runner Sarah Brubaker. She was crowned a TVA or Tri Valley champion yesterday, second year in a row. And Coach Miller has such a great thing going in Juniata because the Juniata boys cross country team, they won the TVA championship again for the 8th year in a row. Quite a great job. Wyatt Straub, Joey Baumberger, Wesley Erishman ran in the front of the race to take first, second, and third places. So, congratulations, Juniata, on the great cross country showing. Next up is the coach, Jeff Miller. He was recently inducted into the Thaddeus Stevens Athletic Hall of Fame. So, congratulations to our friend Jeff Miller.
Kenny, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you were out for like a minute or two.
Oh my God, where did I leave off? I mean, where did I go out?
Oh hell.
Okay, let me back up here. How about did you hear me about the Juniata cross country team?
No.
Okay, the boys finished with the Tri Valley Championship for the 8th year in a row. And Sarah Brubaker on the girls' side won the TVAA championship for the 2nd year in a row. Am I still good?
Yep. And I'm sure
Okay.
Wyatt won the boys.
Yeah, Wyatt, Joey Baumberger, and Wesley Erishman ran at the front of the race to take first, second, and third place. So,
Nice.
Speaking of cross country, it was another banner night for the cross country team recently. As they finished 9th at the Paul Short Invitational, Carter Smith continues his torrid run through the competition, placing first with a top time of 15 minutes and 4 seconds.
That's crazy. Crazy good.
Yeah. Oh man, how would you like to be the person who talked him into running the cross country team? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
I mean, well, I don't think I don't. I don't think we've ever had. I don't think we've ever had a runner win every race.
Yeah, I don't remember it ever happening either.
So far, he has.
Yeah, and he makes it look easy.
I'm sorry. You there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Now I can. Keep cutting out,
gosh.
buddy.
Oh, these trucks. I'm at the truck stop. That's why.
Oh, okay.
I have people looking at me because I'm yelling in my phone. So, but that was it for my shout outs.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. That's going to wrap it up for us tonight. We want to thank our guest, Jed Donahue from the PA Sports Network. For Kenny Varner, I'm Brian Carson. Thank you for listening, everybody. We really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week and an even better weekend. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Wow, that was crazy.
Yeah.